Oh boy, this wasn't supposed to take 2 months. In fact, this was supposed to come out before the assembly video. But here we are, the unboxing and my observations of the Yaw Ultimate by ShallXR. And for the too long didn't watch, it's not perfect, but it's a significant improvement on the Yaw 2. None of the issues that I found are absolute showstoppers. At least one of the issues that I pointed out in the assembly video, ShallXR have already implemented those suggested changes to make it easier to assemble the leg rest onto the chair. Without further ado, let's get into it. If there's anything you'd like to see more about the Yaw U, leave a comment. I'd love to try and cover that off for you, but I think the thing that people are going to want to see the most is what's going to come after this, which is some actual usage videos showing it in action. But anyway, hope you can stay till the end. And remember, if you want to purchase a Yaw U, I have a referral code that you can use. It's linked in the video description. That'll save you at this point in time $200 off the sticker price. So please, if my videos have helped, it would help me a lot if you can use that link if you want to buy one. Cheers. Here's the shipment that's arrived for my ShallXR Yaw Ultimate. So the box has the, I think, iFly Air, but the picture is clearly the Yaw. You probably don't want to get this delivered when you're not at home. It's just over 1 meter long, 78 wide and 99 high. So you can't get it in a door without, well, I'm assuming without some disassembly. This got here pretty fast. It was shipped by air. So anyway, I'm going to start unboxing it. Just a quick one that, I don't know if this happened when they were bringing it in to my garage, but one of the supports broke off. So I just chucked a 2x4 in there to keep it level while I was waiting for it to be able to unbox it. We've got a few dents in the side of the box, but I don't think that's going to be any issue. Nothing on that side. Cardboard's off. As you can see, no damage whatsoever. Plenty of styrofoam to protect everything. That's where the box had some damage, but it's barely touched the styrofoam. Here's something I was expecting to give as feedback, but it looks like they've already dealt with, is this appears to be rubber matting that you can sit under the base so that it doesn't slide when there's a fast rotation. This will stop the base, I assume this will stop the base from sliding. So that's a really good addition. That should have been with the original Yaw 2 and Yaw 3. Just trying to figure out how to carry it inside, and the biggest issue I think is that the width of this is probably wider than the doorway, or pretty close to wider than the doorway. Here's the foot leg rest section, the bench top. So it already comes largely pre-assembled. You can see that there. Oh, we got a nice shiny silver knob. Let's see if they've put... Okay, so that's still metal on metal. How this... I think that's metal. I'll have to take it off and check. And we've got the compressed clamps. What we've seen is that sometimes it helps to put a rubberized washer on the inside here just to give good friction against this piece. But I'll check that once I've got everything assembled. The same would go under the actual bench top. We probably need to get some translation happening in instructions, although I assume that says leg rest or something. So I thought I'd just measure the doorway width to be sure. So my doorway is at the front door of the house is about 800 wide. Unfortunately, my office door has a concertina door which is smaller. I might have to take it off. It wouldn't be the first time I've had to. This is a really good addition. It looks like it's probably all the tools we need to assemble everything. We've got a spanner, or shifter as I would call it, and special, 13mm, 7 and 8mm, different screws and bolts and connectors, Allen keys. So very good Sorry for the noise in the background if you can hear it. My son's got some friends over. I was kind of hoping that a friend and I could lift up both of these parts of polystyrene to carry just the top part inside, but unfortunately it's connected already, so we have to take it apart to get it inside. It's based on the Yaw 2, which I've had one of. It's far too heavy to lift the entire assembled unit. So we take this off, we've got the footplate, and then on the other side, got the pieces for the side rail. That's the L brackets to assemble the side rail. All of the parts for that. This is everything that was left over, packed up. The polystyrene is pretty solid, so there's not a lot of space. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff we've got to get rid of. It's going to be fun. As I didn't really want to disassemble everything, I figured out that pulling the polystyrene off the bottom cardboard and putting it on a trolley that I had, I was able to use this plywood piece as a ramp to get up the steps into my house. And we basically just got up first set of steps, moved this to the next step, and then also use this as a step to get in. And so actually that broken bit on the bottom made it more like a ramp, which worked quite well. So I've got it sitting in my office. It's still on the polystyrene. That's the bit that I've got to figure out how to get it off, because we're talking about this part, and this part, including what the seat sits on, all connected. I don't know how much that weighs, but the box itself I think was 115 kilos, and the bulk of the weight is that. So getting that off the polystyrene, because it's a single piece, I think is going to be quite difficult, but we'll see. Here it is in my office. What I think I would have liked to seen is for this piece of polystyrene to be two pieces. That way I could kind of take one side off and then the other, or actually even this way, because then they should slide off without catching on the feet. So what I'm going to do is probably hack the polystyrene to pieces with a Stanley knife and hope I can slide it down onto the rubber platform. Again, it's too heavy for one person to lift. For everyone's benefit, this is the type of trolley I used to get it inside. And I've started to rip off the polystyrene from around the base. So I've just got the bottom layer and hoping that I can slide. Hopefully the polystyrene will slide on the rubber. Nope! Maybe, maybe not. So I'm going to try and slide this on the polystyrene. That works. So hopefully I am sliding the polystyrene on the rubber. Try putting my foot on it to stop the rubber from moving. No, the rubber's not moving, so that's good. Now I've got marks on the rubber, but anyway. That looks pretty decent. Hopefully I can get that polystyrene. Yep. Okay, so I just want to make sure that it's evenly placed. Alright, so there's some cardboard bits that are in the rotation level. So they're in this level. There's one on each side. Unless it's come out. The other one's come out already. Oh, it's here in the polystyrene. So turn this around the way it needs to be, and then try to shift it to be centered on the rubber plate. Okay, so I did a little bit of a movement test. What I notice is in pitch, there is not any feelable backlash. There's a little bit of sort of clunky noise in rotation, which is normal from having had a Yaw 2. But what I did notice is roll at the moment. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it in the recording, but there's a flat spot apparently on the rollers. So as I move this, I'll move it this side. So there'll be 3 sort of distinct clicks. That's one of them. One in the center, and then again over on that side. And I think what's caused that is being in storage, the rollers sitting in the same spot has probably caused a flat spot on the rollers. So I'm about to take apart and confirm that. I guess this is a good opportunity if I want to spruik something. Like my favorite Allen keys, these are Wera Hex keys. The good thing about them is they have a thing at the bottom that lets you, like, you can undo with it at quite an angle, so if you don't have a lot of space. I'll put a link to purchase on Amazon in case anyone's interested in them. They're not super cheap, but they are very good. I already loosened these earlier. So I'm just cutting the zip tie holding these wires because I will need to feed the wires out. Why is that not coming off? Just be careful not to pull the heads of any of those wires. Next size down. Yep. So we need to remove the block off one of the sides of this. I'm just going to pause the camera and get an image of something. So what I would like to show is on this side the wheel is against the metal, but on this side you can see, if I can get my finger in with enough light, it's a bit hard to show the light, but the wheel doesn't actually touch. There's probably 5 millimeters of space. Perhaps if I go from the other side you can see it better. So yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of space between the wheel on that side compared to the other side. All of the other ones seem to be okay though. So I wanted to use basically a socket to go over here, but they're too close to each other. So I'm going to spruik another tool, which is a Wera Joker. The way they work is when you do that, the size between here gets larger. So I'm hoping that will work. Okay, so now I can take this out all the way. So you just roll it and it should roll all the way off. It should be smooth though. Why does it sound like something scraping? Alright, so now I'm just going to feel the rollers as I spin them, feeling for flat spot. Yep, there's definitely a flat indentation on the vertical roller. On both of the vertical rollers. I will move the camera in a second. I want to check the large rollers as well. Okay, so the large roller is okay on that side. I think there's a flat spot on the large roller on that side. Just try this one again to make sure. It's a little bit hard to feel, but I think there is on that side as well. So I think it's the rollers that take the vertical load because it's been in a factory, like packed in a box for a period of time and not being used. What I do need to do is take these rollers out and check what sort they are. But I'll give a shot so you can see which rollers I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the rear of the chair, that's the front. So I'm talking about this roller and this roller and this roller and probably this one, but this one I can definitely feel it. This one, it's very subtle. These rollers here seem to be okay. Also what you can see here is the very big difference in space between these two rollers versus these ones. Something's not right here. And actually looking at this, that's sort of straight, but over here it's bent, so I'll have to figure out what's going on there. Okay, I've taken the plate off here just to get a bit more visual access, and we can see that this is actually properly bent in a way that's not supposed to be. I'm not sure how that would have happened. After thinking about this for a while, I think what's happened is when the person assembling it pushed the roller in, the roll plate in, they've probably banged it against that edge and not noticed it maybe, or be busy, who knows. This is what I would categorize as, all manufactured objects can have units that get past quality control checks. I've notified ShallXR about this and they've added a check for that into their QC procedures, so it's unlikely to happen in any new units. I was able to resolve it by bending it straight myself with a bit of percussive maintenance, and I don't see that being any issue. There's no creases or wear and tear on the aluminium, so I think it should be fine. But this side is straight, so here. I just want to show you how to get these rollers out. So you'll see here there's a small hole and a larger hole, so you need to lift it towards the larger hole. And then the same at the other side, which you can kind of lift it up from theoretically. It's a bit tricky to do. Sorry for the shaky video. All right, and then normally you push it this way and you can lever it out, but I don't know, without taking this plate off, it appears that this side is hitting something. So you see here when I push through that way, it doesn't go through enough to, but if I go the other way, I can pull it out, but again, not quite enough for it to clear the metal there. So this one's stuck at the moment without further investigation. The other side I was able to get out. Okay, I took the plate off and there is actually nothing behind here. So once I took it off and levered it up, it came out. And so we can get the wheel out now by lifting it up through the big hole there and coming up here. So I'll feel around that, but it's really hard to tell whether it's got an indentation on this side. The other side I can really feel, can actually feel it. Oh, I know I said it was hard to feel the dink, but now that I can put my fingers around it like this and spin it, there's a flat spot here. So it's going to be like, you can only feel it by hand. You can't really show it, but it's definitely there. So that means both of these rollers have flat spots. This is another one of the Wera Joker wrenches. What's really good about it is the way that spring load works is you can use it like a ratcheting when you've got not a lot of space. So yeah, very happy with that as a purchase. All right, so that should just come out, but I'm not sure if the aluminium's threaded. Looks like the aluminium is threaded as well. So you have to take off that top plate to get to these rollers. I need a ratcheting Allen key as well. We do have a through hole here, which makes life a lot easier. So Thank you. But we still do have a clearance issue to go all the way, but now that's loose enough I can just rotate it. So this is where things get a bit tricky. I don't know if that's going to be in shot, but the Allen key is, hang on. So although there is a hole here, the length of the Allen key is long enough that once you get it undone, you're hitting this. I don't really want to take this plate off, so I do have to just do it in here or see whether I can reach the metal to just spin it by hand. There we go. All right, so this one you might be able to see, I don't know, but I can definitely feel it. Okay, so as I run my finger around, there's a definite flat spot just there. So that would have been what the weight of the this part was leaning on while it was in packaging. So this one's also polyurethane. So I wonder if POM rollers might last longer. I'm gonna check. Polyurethane is generally a softer material, so perhaps that's why. If you were using it regularly, I don't think this would happen, but I'm just pointing it out for everyone's benefit. Although polyurethane rollers are unlikely to see this problem if they haven't been sitting idle, so as a replacement item, it's fine. I truly believe that these rollers that are load bearing should be made of POM. Sliding glass doors use POM as the rollers, and the typical weight of a double glazed sliding door is over 170 kilograms. And I've never had a sliding rolling door have flat spots on the wheels. So I think switching to POM would mean these wheels would probably last for the life of the product. Okay, I've taken the pitch unit off and I just wanted to point out some things. So this is the box that ShallXR put in, which is to stop current dips, I guess, caused by the motors. So it's basically a huge capacitor. Indications for anyone who's concerned that ShallXR are planning to get rid of units and then stop production. So in the original Yaw 2, this was 3D printed. Here it's injection molded. You don't make an injection mold if you're only going to make a few and then stop. Just the overall cleanliness, you can't see behind the pitch unit just because it's still plugged in, but all of the cabling is much neater. It's actually using logical colors, which was a problem with the Yaw 2, which means I assume that the AC wires are also using proper colors, but I can't actually see them at the moment. But generally much cleaner, which is a really good thing. One thing I did notice in here is that this bit was loose, the other side is not loose. Tightening this with a Phillips screwdriver resolved the issue in the railiness, and ShallXR have said that they'll use Loctite on those bolts in the future. They already are using it in way more bolts than it was used in on the Yaw 2 or the Yaw 3, so it should be fine in future units. Generally, this is so much cleaner than a Yaw 2 looked. All the bolts are nice and neat. The countersinking on the holes is good. They've used cap head bolts where it makes sense, which reduces production costs because they don't need to countersink all of the holes. Another spot which was a really big, so these clamping wheels on the Yaw 2, originally they had grub screws in here, so they didn't have a head. And what could happen over time is the screw, as these open and close, would start to, and it would just fall out and that would fall off. So that would never happen here. These small rollers, there was a spare set supplied in the box. During a call where I was going over some of the issues that I found with ShallXR, I noticed that these small rollers, the polyurethane had come off. I think these should be replaced with POM rollers as well, so that just never occurs. So that yeah, when you open and close, these would just rotate and stick and so on. The locking mechanism, I think that was in the later revisions of the Yaw 2. But yeah, these being actual cap head screws, that could have also been in the Yaw 2.5, I don't know, but I'm just pointing out what I see from my knowledge, pre-existing knowledge. The wiring harness looks neater. The other thing I noticed is all of the aluminium cut parts, there's much less sharp edges, and that goes for inside the top of the pitch where I've taken the plates off earlier in the video as well. So much less sharp edges that you could cut yourself on, or wires could, you know, the sheathing on the pitch cable could wear out over time. It's much less likely to happen. The rods for the bearings, they're all, you know, got blackening so that they don't rust. These are things, and I have seen rust on rollers on older Yaw units, so I know that it did happen over time. So yeah, really in here, that's the only sort of issue I can see. People have done mods to stop clicking. So on this side, there's no clicking, but this side, that can happen. It looks like it's just that one. So there was a mod with a spring here just to stop that from moving. But it's only happening on that one. So you wouldn't really notice that when you're playing games, I don't think anyway. But when I moved the pitch through its range of motion, I noticed a scraping noise, and I'm just trying to identify where that's coming from. So I can see a little bit of powder coat is removed here, but what there is here there's scraping on the rear plate on the pitch. So that looks like it's probably hitting, if I feel, you probably can't see, but it's the channel where the cable goes, the edge on, I'll show that in a second. But what it is this plate's not actually put in properly. It's overlapping. It should be up higher so that it's flush. And I'm going to take the plate out and have a look at that. I also noticed that this T-plate seems quite loose. I don't know if that's a change in the design. Also, there appears to be like rubbing around here. So I'm just going to try and clean, make sure this isn't just grease. It's not just grease. I don't think it's super abnormal for that to have somewhere, but it seems to only be on one side, which kind of points to a slight alignment issue. I'm going to look at the gear with the camera as well to see if it's wearing on one side where that's happening. But I'll stop the video and give some other angles. Okay, so I believe it's the scraping on the back pitch plate is just here. Although there is a line on each side, so I'm not sure where the other scrape point is. I can't see anywhere else that's worn, so, but I can actually see, I don't know if I can focus, some wearing just there, I think. So, and then the other point is on this wheel. You can see there's a lot of debris on the inside of the gear, and I think that's from where it's scraping in the gear channel. So I'm just going to wipe some of that off and see whether it's pretty hard to tell whether that's metal or paint or otherwise, so I don't want to get grease on my fingers, but yep, that's there. Now that I have everything assembled, I just want to go through a few things that I may have mentioned in the assembly video, but also I want to include in this video for completeness. So there's a couple of things. A few people have messaged me, and I referred back to the unboxing video of the main box, and the plate underneath that the seat goes on is not inside the main box, meaning that if you don't order it with the seat, you'll have to figure out how to connect the seat to the base yourself. I think that ShallXR needs to include the seat plate in the primary box, so that if people are using their own seat, they have a way to connect the seat easily. One of the issues I noticed was the natural direction of this seat belt is to go away so it rolls in around this way. And actually, when you try to pull it this way, it's significantly harder to pull across. One way would be to mount this on the other side, except as was shown in the assembly video, this bracket only really allows it to go on this side. So one way to deal with that would be to pivot this whole piece so that it's around the other way and the bracket still comes in this way on this side, and that would be fine. I would have put it on the other side, except the bracket going this direction makes it not possible. So I think there may have been enough room for it if the bracket did go that way, and that could go on the other side, no problem, because that would just swivel around to whichever side it's based on. I haven't tested yet, but I did note that there's an ability to add external power into the USB hub on the inbuilt hub. This was a problem with the Yaw 2, that the USB hub was underpowered. I will test this when I get to actual usage tests and confirm either way, but it would be nice to at least get details about what power supply we could add ourselves if we need to do that. The central holder, even when done up tightly, I can still, if I stand up, hopefully I can show it. So if I pull this, it still slides. It's difficult, but what I did even on my Yaw 3 was between, you can do it on both sides ideally, but on the outside of these plates, on the inside of this and this, you put a rubber washer, and that means when you tighten it up, the rubber gives you much better grip against here, and likewise at the top. I can show that on my Yaw 3. So here is the rubber washer, and that just stops it moving at all. So I think that would be a great addition here. The feet, I would like to see some holes so that if you're mounting on a platform, as I requested for the Yaw 3, it wasn't my idea, but someone in the Discord said, and I passed that on to Zolt, and they added the holes so that when you create a platform and want to mount it on the platform, you have an easy way to get that mounted. Earlier in the video I showed about the trapdoor not lining up properly. Just so it's clear, these holes don't line up when the plate is in the correct position, and so either I have the option of leaving it there and it'll scratch, or I've just taken the plate off at the moment. It does give me a good opportunity to show the improvements here. All of these connectors now are screwed together, so it's much stronger and will last longer in that way. So yeah, so that's definitely an improvement. And just to point out, the gear is on the inside of this channel, in case anyone didn't know. And I think the alignment issue, after I tightened the loose part with the screwdriver, which did work to tighten it, has resolved that scraping issue. But it's very hard to tell for sure. So it is rough, but it's okay. Oh, dirt off my shoe. If I was the person manufacturing this, I would just remove that cutout. It would be one less step, unless there's something behind that that's required, but like it would be one less cut required in the manufacturing. So yeah, I think that's most of the feedback for there. The suggestion I made in the assembly video for mounting the leg rest under here, they've already put that into place, so it'll be easier to assemble in the future. And then on the back, it's too dark here probably. We just have Ethernet and AC power. I believe the seat position is further back on the Yaw U than it was on the Yaw 2.
And that makes it very, I mean, I can tilt it forwards and get access here. But one of the issues I think with the yaw is that the position of the weights is not ideal as a perfect counterbalance. It can be much better placed up here, and Yaw did make a part that I never saw them release to anyone, but it was shown to me where, I think it was for the Yaw 3, but it let you have a post come up here and you could place weight plates on the back here, so it's much higher.
And further back.
So I don't know how easy it would be to do that on the Yaw U, but I think that would be a good addition. In the assembly video, I mentioned that you would want to turn this around. What I meant was just the top plate of the central holder so that the bend down goes out the front. And the reason for that is really well highlighted. Here I have a Turtle Beach yoke, and it clamps onto the desk. And if you have it around so the bend comes down here, you can't clamp it flat to the bench. So turning that plate around, I would suggest that ShallXR do that by default so that this empty area is there for anything that clamps, which covers steering wheels and yokes. And
finally, I just want to let you know this is an unsponsored video. Although ShallXR sent me the Yaw U, I don't technically own it unless enough people use my referral code. I'm not trying to push anyone to use my referral code, but if you find my content helpful and you want to buy Yaw U, I'd really appreciate if you do use my referral code. And also I have a buy me a coffee link in the show notes that any donations or memberships via that would be immensely appreciated. My daytime job will be ceasing at the middle of this year because of lack of work since COVID, lack of new clients. So I will have no source of income from that point in time. I'm hoping that will allow me to spend more time on the channel and get good content out to you more often. This channel's been very focused on VR and particularly the Yaw motion simulator. I've got a lot of other things that I'm interested in, including that aren't specifically focused on VR. I'm a maker. I do a lot of 3D printing and making things. So if you would like to see that type of content as well, I'd really love to know in the comments. Hope this video was helpful, and I'll be back again soon with some actual using the chair videos. So cheers.